Ready? Testing the sound. That does work. Okay. Oh, we do glasses for this. Glasses. Alrighty. Live from Cabot, Arkansas. It is Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money number 26, I think. Alrighty. And if you don't know me, I'm Coach Steve Money. And I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. That is calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. You can email me about the coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel. Bunch of stuff on there. Oak Island history stuff, video gaming. I played some Last of Us part 1 earlier. Maybe will again after this. Bunch of stuff on there. So any of that stuff you'd like to talk to me about, CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. And of course, this YouTube channel is youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. Alrighty, let's hide that as I do my own production as always. Alrighty, so this is basically the Ramsey advice is based on it's summed up by the baby steps. And if you're not familiar with those, that's step 1. You save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. And that is to keep you from putting stuff on a credit card if you have any kind of emergencies. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, that's not enough. Dave was recently asked about that at a live event. And at their new event center, and he said $1,000 wasn't enough 30 years ago. So it's not supposed to be enough. It's not supposed to be an amount that makes you comfortable. You're not supposed to be comfortable. You're supposed to be having only that $1,000 to keep you from putting stuff on a credit card, so that you separate your life from debt. Step 2 is to pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball, which means smallest to largest. And the smallest to largest way works because it's a behavior problem. It's not a math problem where you would pay off the highest interest first. If it was a math problem, you wouldn't be in debt in the first place. So it's a behavior problem. And so when you do these smaller debts first, you pay them off sooner, and there you get a win, and there you get more motivated to finish them all off. Baby step 3 is to save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. A lot of people ask, how much should I have in that? That is up to you. If you have no job or life drama, 3 months of expenses is fine. Whatever makes you comfortable, whatever helps you sleep at night. You can have 3.5 months, you can have 5.2 months, or just 6 months. Dave doesn't want you to have more than 6 months in savings, unless of course you have like a sinking fund, like you have a tire fund, something like that, where it's specifically designed to go there or plan to go there. And the reason he doesn't want you to have more than 6 months of expenses in your fully funded emergency fund is so that you can do the rest of these steps, which is step 4, invest 15% of your gross household income into retirement. Step 5, to save for your kid college. If A, you don't have kids, or B, you decide not to help them, then you can just skip step 5. And step 6 is to pay off your home early, and that's a big one. A lot of people like to invest more than 15%, but Dave says don't invest more than 15% until you pay that house off early, because paying that house off early gets you completely out of debt, and also then you have a place to live when you're retired that you don't no longer have to pay rent or a mortgage on. And step 7 is build wealth and give, and that never ends. You do both of those for the rest of your life. Alrighty. If you see me looking every once in a while to my right side, it's because I am checking the stream and also checking the chat to see if anybody has dropped by to comment. All right, and so I'll be referring back to the 7 baby steps when I go through these questions. Get a little water first. Oh, before we start on the questions, let's check out the market. Fantastic day on Friday. As you can see, NASDAQ up the most, and that would be your tech stocks, etc. And see, it says AI and fading recession fears are sparking big, I'm assuming that's growth. Also, the futures are looking very nice as well. So for Monday, the market, I does believe, is open Monday. I believe it closes early, and of course will not be open Tuesday. The United States July 4th holiday. All right, so what else did I want to talk about with this? Let's take a look at the week here for the S&P. I mean, this is 2% over the week, 3.92% over the last month, 16.38% over the 6 months, and which is year to date, about the same. The 1 year, 16.16. Of course, the 5 year is 61%. Now, what we're looking for is for it to be average 10%, which over time the market has averaged out to be, the S&P 500 has averaged to be 10 to 12% is what Dave says, and it may be closer to, actually since it's come back up, it may be above 10%. Overall, let's see. Now that's the market as a whole. We can't use just the S&P. But anyway, the thing to look at here is the previous high, which was on December 31st, 2021. And that was less than 2 years ago. And what Dave always says is that in any 5-year period, the market is going to be at least even. So if, even after a crash, and that's why you keep buying after here, like here, the Pandy crash, right here. Pandy crash happened. I started investing somewhere around in here, I think, and kept buying all the way. And then when it crashes, you keep buying. And as a matter of fact, it's on sale when it crashes. So you definitely buy. But you buy on schedule. You don't try to time the market. And so it was back up in like 6 months or something like that. Let's see. Between July and August, and the previous high was February 21st. So could be 6 months. Yeah, 5 to 6 months. And so here, the previous high, we have, again, December 31st, 2021. And now we are back up, I would say a good 80%, maybe more, 85%, back to that. And there's been 2 articles in financial magazines. I don't know if they're magazines anymore, it might just be websites. But 2 different people have said they see a new high within a year. Between 6 months from now and a year, they see a new high, which is the opposite of Grant Cardone's prediction 7 months ago. He said that by the end of May, the market would be down 80%, and that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So when you're wrong like that, I don't know why people would still follow you, but they do. Let's see. And so this is the maximum. I don't know why I did that, but just to let you see the difference, you can see the pandy crash right there again, right there, and then of course the previous high up there. If it would go there, it wouldn't go there. Okay. Let's see. What else do we want to look at with this? Anything? Let's see. What stories? Tesla rival Chevy rolls out electric version of classic model. Tesla stock has been going up a lot. Let's take a look at that. Let's see. Let's go back to the month. You can see the month, 1 month, 6 months. But recently it has been because it has agreements in place with, oh gosh, 3 other car companies to use the Tesla charging network. And so that caused the stock to go up a bunch. Let's see what else we got. World Health Organization statement on cancer and aspartame. Yes, the stuff in Diet Coke is worth hearing out. This says basically it's the World Health Organization. What they're stating is that it's possible that it's a carcinogen, and by doing that, they're hoping that more and more studies will be done to determine if that is indeed true. The FDA is still fine with it. So we'll see. Nothing wrong with testing it out. Nothing wrong with doing tests. Doing studies, no problem with that at all. Let's see. This Motley Fool, why I invested another $600 in this magnificent high yield dividend stock. And this one is a REIT, a real estate investment trust. And Dave does not recommend that. He doesn't want you to own any real estate with any other person ever except a spouse. And not even other family members, not friends, and not in REITs either. So if you want to get into the real estate game, you save up and you buy the whole thing in cash, and that's how you make money on it, not by buying it with debt. I think that's it. Bitcoin, more oversight coming from the government. Government's going to get their share, and it's not going to be untrackable like they originally said it would. Not going to be. Okay, so I think that's all we need here. I'll leave this page up just in case we need it. Alrighty. So let's start. So we go to reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, and this subreddit is run by fans. It's not run by Ramsey Solutions. So there are, people can comment whatever they want. It's the internet. And so if it gets too contentious, the mods will close a thread down. But generally, they let people disagree with Dave's advice if they want to. So there you go. So we got this one from 7 minutes ago, or when I first pulled the page up. So I recently bought a truck, NO, $43,000, $800 a month. Sorry, I have to do all the production myself. Should I start baby step 2 per the norm and start tackling my smallest debt, a credit card, $7,000 total, or should I save up a bunch to help get rid of the truck? And I couldn't help myself earlier when I first pulled it up. I did see this, and so I wrote, smallest to largest always. You pay more interest if you save X amount than if you pay it as soon as you have extra to apply to the debt. It's the same in reverse. I should have said it's the same in reverse with investing. You make more in the market by contributing every paycheck than waiting to do it once a month or any other period. And then, of course, also if you save up X amount, there is the chance that you will spend it on something else, like a new truck or something. $800. You could get an apartment for that. Crazy. And some houses, some small houses you could get. That is crazy. All right, let's go back. Oh, let me do my new again, just in case somebody put another thing on there. Since that one, nope, they did not. That was 37 minutes ago. An ad for a Whopper. I've been Burger King in a long time. This is from consistent-2-390. 18-year-old question should be: should I hold on to my single stocks or take them out and go all into mutual funds? Dave would recommend that you cash them out. If they're not in a retirement account, that you cash it out. And you would apply it to whatever baby step you're on. Now, the advice for an 18-year-old would be, if you're in college, you are not investing at that point. You should not be investing. You should be investing in yourself. And what that means is you just work and pile up as much cash as you can until the day that you graduate from college debt-free. No loans for college. No student loans for college. Oh yeah. Hey, guess what? The Supremes weren't into paying those off. So as one Republican congressman posted, good. Now, what was it? Now 73%? No, 83%. 83% of the taxpayers don't have to pay for the student loans of 13%. Or 17%, 83 and 17. I think those were the numbers, something like that. It was more than 80%. So, and less than 20% of people, United States citizens that have student loans. Alrighty. So anyway, I have around 32K in liquid savings account. 4,750 in my Roth IRA, 2.5 contributed this year, 2,750 in mutual fund within my investment account, and about 3,150 in those single stocks. Well, I feel guilty selling individual stocks since I'm so young, but on the other hand, I can't help but feel like I should take my gains. I'm up like 60% in Tesla, 30% in many others. Yeah, the market's up. So, and a lot of people have a problem in the market is they mistakenly think that, okay, I bought it low and now it's high, so I made that money. That's false. You have not made that money. That's just what it is if you sell it right now. If you don't sell it right now, you do not get what it's worth right now. So you can't say, oh, I've lost this much in the market because it went down. No, you didn't. The only amount you would have lost would be what you contributed. So you only get your gains when you sell, and you only lose when you sell is the inverse of that. So Pandy Crash, when it crashed, if I had sold out there, I would have locked in my losses and I would have been negative. I would have, because it was below my contribution level, I think, if I remember correctly. And so I would have been negative, and so that would have been bad. But I didn't, and I kept buying, and so it went up to a new high. And now since then, let's see, since just over the time I've invested, I'm trying to remember how many years, 3 or 4 years, something like that. Anyway, I'm at 20%. There's my phone way over on the counter. I'm at like 20%, and that includes all the two crashes, the Pandy crash and the excuse me, inflation crash or whatever else you want to call it. But I mean, Tesla up 60% in Tesla, 30% in many others. Dave doesn't recommend the single stocks because it is more risk betting on one company. Even if you have a bunch of them, it's more risk than being in a mutual fund, which is automatically diversified because it's a basket of stocks. And he further diversifies you by having you put 25% each. And this is for retirement advice, of course. 25% each into large cap, mid cap, and small cap, and international. Those 4 categories times 25% each equals 100% of that. And that's for retirement. Now, if it is you're using the market as a savings account, first you have to have 5 years in the market. You cannot need the money before 5 years because the market could be down right when you need the money. And as we had talked about before, in every 5-year period, the market is at least even as to what it was 5 years prior. So that's how you figure that out. So, and what Dave does is he uses an index fund. A lot of people go immediately to the index fund for saying that's what they're going to do in their retirement account. Dave does that for saving for a purchase, S&P 500 index fund. And that's because that is only for a limited time, 5 years or whenever he finds a deal to buy. And so that's what he does with that. So he's not anti-index fund. He just doesn't use those for retirement because 40% of mutual funds beat the index. And so he'd rather have you pick good funds and beat the index. S&P 500 index fund, better than nothing though. If it's a choice between nothing and an S&P 500 index fund, do the index fund, obviously. Even for retirement rather than nothing. All right, this from I'm assuming the P is silent. Ptarmigan Ridge Trail. Frequent poster here on the Ramsey subreddit. Oh, let's see who we got there. Matic Bag. Steve, for example, my Fidelity account says I am up 165 after the market closed. Did I make 165 or not? You made it if you cash out today. If you cash out today, yeah, you lock in that gain. But if the market goes down on Monday by the same amount, you're back at even. You didn't make anything. So your gains or your losses are not locked in until selling. And so that's why we don't day trade is what Ramsey would recommend. You're not trying to day trade. You're not trying to time the market. In retirement, you're not touching retirement anyway. I'm assuming your Fidelity account, that's who I'm with as well. Not recommending them though, because if they go out of business, I don't want to be sued. Yeah. So yeah, what up, AJ? Just talking about some Ramsey stuff, AJ. Thanks for dropping by, Matty Bags and AJ. They are frequent regulars on the Ramsey Show full episodes YouTube chat. Talk quite often on there. And so what was I saying? Oh yeah, about the gains and losses in the market. That's everybody thinks, oh, as soon as it goes up, let's take a look at it while I'm talking about it. S&P 500 again. So let's take a look at it. They say, oh, right here at this high, they say, oh, I made this much money. And then they say, oh, when it crashes, they say, oh, I lost that much money. No, you didn't. If you don't sell, you didn't lose anything because 6 months later, it's right back to even. So that's the dealio on that. So what you have is the contributions you're putting in. That's your basis, and you obviously want to make 10% average a year on top of those contributions. And of course, you should be continually contributing to that amount, so it should always stay up above that. But sometimes it may crash, but when it crashes, you just don't panic and sell, because if you panic and sell, that's a definite loss. So, and you know, it's nice when it goes up. I like it when it goes up. And that's great, but it's not your money until you cash out. So you would have to cash out in order to lock those gains in. So Maddie's around 12% right now. Yeah, when I looked at it I didn't look at it after Friday's good day, but I looked at it on Thursday. I think market was down on Thursday, and I think I was at 20% lifetime on it, and so. We're looking for 10%. That's what Dave says, the 10 to 12%. And so 20 is pretty good. And you know, your over mathy people will say, well, what about inflation, and how much are you going to take out? You know, you should only take out 4%. Why does Dave say you can take out 10%? Is because that's what it makes. So you can take out 10% average a year without affecting the principal. Basically, all your contributions, you know, would still be in there, and you can take 10% out without eating into your contributions and making that amount smaller. All right, didn't want to say anything else about that. I think I had one more thought about that. But I can't remember. AJ, you missed the first question. So I recently bought a truck and owe $43,000, $800 a month. And if you missed it, when I read that, I did this. So I pulled the page up, so you know I'm going to be doing it. Let's see. Oh, we did that one. Okay, so this from Ptarmigan Ridge Trail, baby steps 4 to 6. Let's see if Maddie had another question about it. Oh, you did pay that off. Excellent, AJ. Excellent. AJ is like, instead of The Last of Us, AJ is probably the ishest of us. But, yeah. Maddie says a lot of his coworkers are complaining about the Supreme Court student loan decision. Right. Talked about that. Let's see. AJ is admitting that buying the truck on debt, it wasn't his best moment. That's not just certain, but now you're out of it. So good job. Alrighty, so Ptarmigan Ridge Trail, again, frequent poster here on the Ramsey subreddit. Let's talk about baby step 4, 6, and 4, baby step 4, baby step 6, and baby step 6. So good, you talk about it twice, probably means 5 there. It would be refreshing to share about these steps in action. All right, let's see. We'd love to hear how people are progressing and making decisions with these steps. Well, there's no decisions to make with it. You either follow it or you don't follow it. I don't know, let's see, the Dave Ramsey approach, which is why we're all here and why you would be on the subreddit generally. But anyway, and great advice on this thread. When I was turning it around over the last few years, excellent, and experiencing great income, was phenomenal for me. I am phenomenal. That's comedian Rick Glassman, and a 4.5 month emergency fund. See, I told you that can be any amount you feel comfortable with. your baby step 3. It can be, like I said, it can be on the low end, 3 months if you have no job or life trauma. If you sleep better with 4.5, as this person does, that's fine. You get to decide that. Oh, one thing I didn't say about that is nobody knows what your emergency fund needs to be. A lot of say, what do my emergency fund need to be? Nobody knows because we don't know the amount of your expenses per month. So you got to have that. You got to pick how many months of expenses you want to save in your emergency fund and multiply that by the amount of your personal expenses. All right, let's see. And no debts other than the house. Excellent. I can hardly believe it. We paid off $94,000 in student loans. Excellent. Paid cash for cars. Excellent. P.S. I'm not a dumb overspender cult follower. Okay. I come from low income, hard working background as a single mom. Well, excellent. Okay, I don't know like what she's thinking about with that to share about these steps. Oh, I guess just to say it works, perhaps. And 75,000 mark for retirement savings as well on top of that. And that's why you do that. You do all 3 of these steps at the same time if they apply. Step 4 would apply to save for retirement. Maybe step 6 may or may not apply. For it to apply, you would have to A, have a child at least, or children, and B, you would have to decide you want to help them with it. But some parents do not. Some parents would like them to forge on their own. Let's just see like an example of it. Love this thread. Curious to see what everyone's contributing to their 529 EDU fund, educational funds. When we opened our 2 kids. Okay, that's about that. Daughter, open 529. We do target date. Total market index. That's the investments inside the 529 plan. 529 and ESA are educational investment accounts. Let's see, a bit of hard slog for us. 2 years into a variable rate mortgage. Boop, boop, boo, doo. Oh, only possible option in Australia, mate. Can't do the 15-year fixed, you blokes in having. That's always bad. A bad accent. Bad accent. Great sharing. That's for the OP. Saying that. Got to 4-month emergency fund, which was my goal. And as I got there over the winter, had some medical issues surface. So I've been cash flowing all of that. And so that's what happens right there. You got 4 months emergency fund, and then something happens where you have an emergency if you have medical issues. So at that point, you pause the baby steps and you just cash flow all of your stuff. And you pile up cash until the emergency subsides, and then you pile whatever cash is you piled up, if there's any, to whatever baby steps you're on, and you resume the baby steps. Alright, so great. Just some people talking about their 4, 5, and 6 experience. Cool. Let's see. Alrighty. Dr. John Deloney's heart is made of gold, and they have a YouTube link to a call that he took, I guess. Perfect example why he's such a good man. Yeah, he's great. Also, he has 2 PhDs, 2 more than me. Plus, he's got some other certs. John Deloney. My Ramsey adjacent songs, parodies of other songs, are in my music playlist on my YouTube channel. There's one for Rachel Cruz, there's one for John Deloney, and there's the Baby Step song. 8 Quiddy. Is it okay to take a HELOC to purchase another rental? Got a rental worth $350K, only $150K left on the loan. Following, is it okay if I take a HELOC for $100K and use it to buy a $500K rental? The rental would bring in approximately $200 a month initially. You're going to take all that risk for $200 a month, and that's if you don't have any expenses. So is it okay? I love it when they ask that. You're not following Dave's advice anyway, so what do you want somebody to say here? You want somebody to agree with you that it's okay? Or, I mean, Dave would not agree on any of that stuff. You purchase rental property in cash only, according to Dave. So I don't know. I don't know why people post that. I mean, obviously they want some justification, some validation rather. And I guess that's why they do it. So let's see. Have fun 2442. What would Dave do? Flair seeking financial advice. Okay, and again, they do this as well. They put the what would Dave do? Flair on it. The poster does that, not the subreddit mods. The poster will put the what would Dave do Flair on it, and then want non-Dave advice. That does happen sometimes. Anyway, let's say challenging situation could really use your valuable life. Currently own an SUV, which I own outright. Excellent. It's worth around $38K. However, deeply regret the decision made a few months ago back to trade my good mileage per gallon car for this large SUV. Prior to trade, my car served me well with its fuel efficiency, and I enjoyed the financial freedom of owning it all right. However, got enticed by the idea of having an SUV. Why? And made a choice that's now taking a toll on my finances. I admit that I don't have a soft spot for stuff like this because I don't care about cars. I'm not interested in them. I like them to get me from point A to point B, and that's it. I don't care what model. I don't care, about any of the bells and whistles on it. I don't care that moms want an SUV for hauling their kids around. My kids got traveled a lot in a compact car, and they are fine. They're still alive. They made it. 2 adult children. They made it. Let's see. I realized the decision has put me in a tough spot. I now have a given portion of my savings tied up in a depreciating asset. Yes, indeed. That's why Dave says you do not get a new car. Even if you buy it in cash, you don't buy a new car unless you are a millionaire, have $1 million net worth. A lot of people confused about that. A millionaire has $1 million net worth, doesn't make $1 million a year. That's not what it means. And the regret of trading my reliable car for the SUV is weighing heavily on me. Seeking guidance on how to rectify this. Well, you can't get your good car back, probably. You can see if the person will trade you, if you give them a good deal on the SUV, you can see if they'll trade that, and you can take some loss on that. But I'm guessing you don't want to take any more loss, so you just remember it and don't do stupid things again like that. That's what I would think. All right, let's see. Last call I listened to of Dr. D was with a 600-pound man, and Dr. D offered him $1,000 if he can get to $499. Great, and a new mattress at $399. Send him all of his books and the Total Money Makeover and Financial Peace. Excellent. Yeah, Dr. D is great. Maddie's coworker told him she might take out a second mortgage. Hold on, Maddie. Hold on. I have to Alt-Tab to that every time now because I don't have my new video card only has one HDMI and 3 display ports. So in order to do the 2 monitor thing, I either have to go use my old computer or I have to get an adapter or something like that for this. Boom. Oh, where were we? Okay. Oh, second mortgage to pay off her student loans. Does that sound right? I never heard of it. AJ never heard of Dr. D offering so much to a single person. Yeah, that does sound like the best offer anybody's gotten on the show. I'd be surprised if there was more than that. It's possible though. Let's see. Oh, so the person wants to get a second mortgage so that it's less interest than student loans. So, generally for that kind of thing, like that's like a loan consolidation thing. Dave calls them loan consolidations, is because it makes you think you've done something when you've just moved the money around like a shell game. You move the debt around like a shell game, and so you haven't really done anything. So you could get complacent and just run more debt up instead of just committing to pay it all off. So that is the danger in that. So that's why I wouldn't recommend doing that. But the interest on the student loans is probably not the problem. The problem is probably didn't pay anything on it during the furlough or whatever it was, and had them in the first place. But that does happen. Let's see. Maddie working 4 days a week with Wednesday off. AJ working on getting that new position. Excellent. Let's see. Zara Tool 277. Baby step 2 flare, and of course that is paying off all debt except the house using the debt snowball, which means smallest to largest. So the news is out. Payments resuming in August, I think. October, I thought. Good luck to everyone paying down loans. I fortunately can pay off the loan today, but only have like $2,000 in savings. Let's see. Let's look at the baby steps. Save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Pay off all debt except the house, except using debt snowball. So if you have all the money to pay off your student loan, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to have $1,000 while you have any non-mortgage debt. Can pay off the loan today, so hopefully. Edit, my first payment is September 1st. Why am I waiting? I can get $50 a month in July and August by waiting due to bank interest. Yes, I have that much college debt. Boop, 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 doo. I didn't feel like alt-tapping that time. I see, but because there's not going to be any interest starting until September, I guess. I don't know when the interest starts back. So I don't know. I mean, so for $100, you're going to not pay it off until then. Well, you can do what you want to do, but of course, Dave would say to pay it off today. And so $2,000 is fine. That's more in savings than Dave would recommend while you have non-mortgage debt. Alrighty, from Tidicus. Cashing small 401k in order to pay student loans. Negative ghostwriter. The pattern is full. You do not tap a retirement account in order to pay off debt, in order to do anything except to avoid foreclosure or bankruptcy. That would be the only reason why you would tap that 401k, and it's because they would make you do it anyway. Let's see, I know it's typically a no. Yeah, there's no typical. People love to say it's typically, or what's the nuance here? There's none of that with David's advice. David? So formal. From Dave's advice, there's no exceptions, like almost no exceptions. You're either doing the baby steps in order, or you're pausing them, or you're not doing them at all. Is of course your choice. You don't have to take his advice. But since you're on the Ramsey subreddit, maybe you care a little bit about his advice. I don't know. So, but would you ever consider cashing in a small 2K, 401k on an old job to throw at a student loan? No, you don't do that. Because you're losing, you got penalty and interest on that. I mean, penalty and taxes on that. So what you would do, though, is you could roll it to your new job or roll it to a Roth IRA or even a regular IRA. Let's see, from Beto_RJR. Let's see. So she works at 0.8, so she would qualify for the debt forgiveness. Then why does she need to take out the illogical, Captain? Why does she need to take out the second mortgage to pay it off then? Oh, she said you wouldn't qualify for debt forgiveness. What debt forgiveness? Yeah, not your fault. You signed the paper, right? That's right. Matty Baggs signed the paper and he paid his off. Employer is changing some things to a retirement. You can take a loan out of your 401k for hardship. Every comment says how it's a great idea, LOL. Yeah, how is that hardship? Having a loan is hardship? AJ's gone. He had to bounce. He said, take car, y'all. Forgot the E. That's okay. That might be his actual accent. He might say, take car. He's from Texas, just like Joel in The Last of Us. Get on the pallet, Eddie. Let's see. Selling home. Baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Flair here. Selling our home. Moving into an apartment to move closer to my business. Wife and I discussed this for a while. The drive back and forth, half hour each way, was starting to put some wear on my wife and I. Yep, I get it. I traded in a half hour each way check to Amazon for an 8-minute each way. And I am much happier. Moving into an apartment because along with my business partners, we are planning on opening another location elsewhere. And I'll probably be the one to go to that location, okay? That's excellent advice. And that is because you'll be on the move. That's the same reason Dave tells people in the military to not buy a house. Because you can be stationed anywhere at any time, usually. We're looking at making a good return on the sale of our home. My question is, where or what should we do with this money? Any advice is welcome. Thank you. You apply them to whatever baby step you're on. This says baby steps 4, 5, and 6. So if you're already doing 15% to retirement, you're already addressing kid college, if that's applicable. You'll be paying off the home, so that's basically doing 6. That could put you basically in step 7, unless you don't have kid college completely addressed yet. But say there's no kids or kid college is taken care of already. In that case, you're on baby step 7, so that way you can do whatever you want with it. Probably the smart thing to do if you plan on buying a house somewhere at some point, you would maybe save that money in a high yield savings account, or if you are pretty darn certain that you won't be buying a house for 5 years, you can put that in the market and make that 10 to 12% average a year on it. So, but in general, you pay any extra money, which is what this would be. Any extra money you apply to whatever baby steps you're on. And it sounds like you'd be on baby step 7, so it's up to you. You can blow it all if you want. I probably wouldn't do that. I would probably save it for if you supposedly would have the full emergency fund, which is step 3, would have that all in place already. And so, yeah, save it to buy a new house one day, probably. You could spend a little of it, maybe go on vacation or something like that. I feel like I'm dropping down a lot, but I never have been when I've been adjusting my chair recently. Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty. Flow wrestling. All right. Average interest rates. What are the average interest rate for a mortgage when doing manual underwriting, and what's the lowest it can go compared to the traditional FICO automated credit score loans with 750 plus credit scores? I'm 21 right now. I'm thinking about how to go on about my life right now. As in, do I want to not have debt and play footsie with banks in order to have a high credit score? 56 comments. There are a lot of discussions about that. Let's take a look. Why not? Let's take a look and see if there's manual underwriting rate was 3.25. They're nowhere near that today. That was 2012. At the time, it was the lowest rate you could get with manual underwriting. How about that? 3.25 for a 30-year would have been decent. Hopefully, just did a 15. If it was 15, you got screwed. Don't know about that. Manual underwriting won't get you lower. No, it won't get you lower, but it's not a discount coupon, right? But it won't necessarily make it go up. You need at least 740 or better to get the best interest rate on a home loan. Okay, so there you go. If you're spooked by credit, put your cell phone bill on a credit card and pay it on autopay. Okay, now honestly, the kids are using honestly way too much. Honestly, to be honest. And the kids are also saying whenever, when it should be when. Like, whenever I was born, no, you were born at a 1 minute in time, at a particular minute, not a particular second in time you were born, not whenever. However, it doesn't matter if you don't know, you can still say when I was born. Don't pay attention. Oh, I have some credit that I had for like 2 years that I don't pay attention to. Just don't want to live by borrowing, and paying unnecessary interest. Right. That's why if you either play footsie with the bank to have a good credit score or not. So, you can, but this is not advised by the Ramsey team. Exactly. So, it doesn't matter. So, point is, you may have a little bit more higher interest rate than someone with a high credit score, but they have debt and you don't. So, it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to be like them or be following Dave's advice. All right. And I got no problem with people that do not want to follow Dave's advice. They can do whatever they want to. The only problem I have with them is when they want validation on the Dave Ramsey subreddit or by calling Dave, etc., because you're not going to get it. Some people will give them validation here because there are plenty of people here that are anti-Dave advice. So they love talking about the things that they do instead, which is fine. It's the internet. Landlord not giving security deposit back. Unfortunately, they can do that. You can sue them, but probably not worth it. Hello, me and 3 other roommates. 3 other roommates and I signed a year-long lease. The lease dates are whatever. The lease states that security deposit will not be given back until all occupants surrender the property. There you go. However, 3 of my roommates are choosing to renew their lease for another year. Because of this, the landlord is claiming I have no right to get my security deposit back. True. This makes no sense because the new occupant will have to pay a security deposit. I could see some of my roommates living there for another decade. Is this legal? Thanks for the advice. Yeah, probably. But again, so you're only talking about a quarter of the security deposit then. Unless you all have to pay a full one, but probably only a quarter of the deposit back. And it wouldn't be worth it to hire a lawyer for that. And so this could be a technicality. So don't get out house with roommates anymore, or have that stipulated that the deposit will be given back. Make sure that's in writing from the landlord if you're concerned about that. But yeah, that's your fault for not checking on that. Because you can't assume that you're gonna, in cases like that, you can't assume that you're gonna get your deposit back. Especially when it says, when the lease states that. Maybe probably didn't even read it though. A lot of people don't read it; they just sign it. Just like they just signed for student loans as well, thinking they're gonna get forgiven. The answer is negative. Zunga_Sama. 5-year window for college. Wrong answer. Let's see. On the last episode, Ken and George said that was that Thursday or Friday? I can't remember. If you are in the 5-year window of saving for kids' college in a 529, it isn't worth it because of market fluctuations. 5 years would probably be it would have to be at least 5 years. So if it's less than 5 years right now, probably is why they said that. When the best course at the point, you still use a 529 as a pass-through account right before college, so that you can deduct that off of state income tax. Well, they don't really. The Dave advice is not to worry about deductions. If you have them, you can take them, but is that really going to be enough money to worry about whether you do it or not? And if it's going to be that much money, then it probably doesn't matter to you anyway. But for that, it's probably because 5 years is probably because what they know is that the window for saving in the market for anything is 5 years. Got to have at least 5 years. And that's the minimum. And since that's the minimum, that's probably why they said it about the market fluctuations. Alrighty, Luminu16. I did not hear that particular question. Market money / CDs. That is certificate of deposit. Dave does not recommend certificates of deposit. I'm new to baby steps. I've established my $1,000 emergency fund, excellent, but I was looking to put it in a money market or CD with no withdrawal penalties. Well, the CD is locked for X amount of time, so you can't do that. Certain money markets, certain high yield savings accounts do not have immediate access to the money, so you can't do that in those cases. You have to have immediate access to it, which means you need to have debit card or check writing privileges to your money at all times in the emergency fund. I've been researching several institutions, but was just curious if people could share their personal experience. Let's take a look at some of them. Why not? Don't put it in a CD, right? Not worth it, right? Because it is just $1,000. It's not gonna make much interest anyway. And worry about that when you get your full emergency fund. 0 surrender fees beyond forfeiting interest back to the last day that accrued interest, which okay. Extra steps and potential loss of interest are enough to convince many people that a short-term loan is a better way to cover small starter emergencies. It's not though. Ally Money account at 4.15% interest. I have paper checks and a debit card to access it. There you go. I don't care what his that said issue is. That's all that matters, is that he does have immediate access to it. Revolving facts. Well, they're still facts. I don't know if he means that just the different facts are revolving, or the fact that if they're facts or fiction is revolving. Cheap food, ways to save at grocery store, etc. Hello everyone, as the title said, I'm looking for ways to save money at the grocery store. I'd like to diversify my food options because I always buy chicken, sausage, canned beans, and then some assorted vegetables and fruit. What's wrong with that? Does anyone have any cheap food suggestions? Those aren't cheap. I don't know why those items wouldn't be considered cheap. Does anyone have any cheap food suggestions? Perhaps some recipes? You already buying canned beans. Beans and rice. Food is my big vice when it comes to saving money. Obviously, self-discipline is the biggest key here, but I would greatly appreciate any tips in regard to cheap food or good money-saving strategies while shopping. Thanks. I would have to guess here when they say they're not looking for an alternative to these things necessarily, but it's probably the rest of the stuff they're buying at the grocery store instead of just this stuff. Is what I would imagine would be the problem, because I don't think chicken, sausage, canned beans, and assorted vegetables and fruits are. I don't know, unless they're just buying the most expensive kind in these particular categories. Then don't buy the most expensive kind. Alrighty. Oh, deleted 187 comments, and so they're like, I'm out. Paternity leave. Today a caller called in and asked about taking more than 3 weeks unpaid off from work. Oh, that's right. I did hear about this. I work during the show now, and so I can only hear a little bit of it during my lunch hour. From work for his newborn. He could take up to 12 weeks off, but was thinking of taking 6 weeks off. Yeah, I did. There was a big to-do about it, a big hubbub in the chat. Ken's response was just pathetic. He seemed confused on why men would even take time off for a baby if the baby and mother are healthy, not is healthy. Saying back in his day, the men went to work. Yeah, I mean, that's his opinion. He's supposed to give his opinion. That's his opinion on it. And if it's unpaid, is it unpaid? Yeah, unpaid. Unpaid. So that also would depend on what baby step you're on. So certainly, is it a help for you to be there? Absolutely, it is. So because that's your wife has to do. And so you can bond with your boy, sure, but you can bond with your boy when you're not working as well. There's a lot of hours when you're not working. So I think that's it. That's up to opinion. That's not covered by Ramsey advice. Sugar. Should I file bankruptcy or work the steps? If it's an option, you work the steps. Oh. I was going to click on it, but it looks like all of it's here. My info, 70K credit cards, 22K personal loans, 12K car loan, how much do you make? Single income widow, 46,900. I rent currently $1,200 a month. My portion is a half. Oh, so then you only pay $625 then. 63 years old at the moment. I'm current on all payments, but won't be for long. I don't know that it's just those debts that's causing the problem. If you can just sacrifice on stuff and not buy stuff and not spend any money, not eat out, etc., and you can pay this stuff off, you should do that. From ill recognition, 1950. When do I give up on car repairs? That's a tricky one. Normally, when it's like if it's like just if the repair is going to cost more than you paid for the car used, then that's when you might want to think about it. So let's see. What did I have? I bought my current car about 3 years ago for $1,750. 1,750, 205,000. No, 2005 Suzuki Verona, and it had, I think, 80,000 miles on it. The owner of it was kind enough to take it to my mechanic to look at first before I bought it. And it came back with a clean bill of health, other than needed a tailpipe. And I think one other thing, I'm trying to remember. But it was $250 the repair, so that made the total $2,000. And the only other problem I had with it was it needed, recently, in the last year, it needed new brake lines. So, and that was $800, I believe. And so I'm still up not needing a new car. So, but generally I would guess like when the repair itself is going to be more than you paid for the car, because then you can get a whole new car that doesn't have that problem. Let's see. That's what I would expect. As far as I don't know that Dave has guidance on that. 6 years old and just hit 100,000 miles. That doesn't matter. Miles don't matter. Bought it new. Yeah, okay. So it's a new car. So that would be 23. That would be 2017. And so my 2005 car is fine for me. So I would imagine yours would be fine for you, unless it's going to keep breaking. It's been in the shop once a year. Once a year isn't that bad. For the past 3 years for a wide range of issue. Most recently, we spent $2,500 in January to fix a few different critical issues. $2,500 is significant, but you probably can't in today's world. You probably would have a tough time finding as good of a car overall as that one. So it's just up to you. If you think you're going to have a lot of problems, then spend the $2,500 on a car that won't have as many problems that you think. I mean, you never know in advance. I mean, even mechanics can take a look at it and everything can be fine right now, but then not be later. Let's see. Now my check engine line is back on and throwing a turbo code. If they've looked at that before, I would try to get that fixed for free, whatever that is. I'm hoping it's just a sensor, but if it's not, it's looking like it will be at least $2,000 to fix. I mean, that's still, the car is only worth $5,000 to $7,000 private sale per Kelly Blue Book, and that's probably if everything works as well. So it's not even worth that much, maybe, unless the person has factored that in. But yeah, so it's your money. You are the one that gets to decide that. But, it's not an excuse to buy a new car. It's not an excuse to put it on debt. No debt for cars. You pay cash. You just got to be smart and make the best decision that you think. And if you're wrong, you're wrong, and it costs you extra money. Alrighty, Dirt Dog 12. How do I start the baby steps if my creditors are threatening to sue or have sued? In Canada, I'm in a mountain of debt and finally working, but I don't know where to start eating the elephant, so to speak. I'm being sued by multiple creditors and feel like everything is caving in. Well, the first thing to do is part of Baby Step 0, which again, I'm going to make a video on the missing baby steps, which is 3B, which I haven't talked about before because it hadn't come up in these questions so far. 30B goes right in here, and that is save the down payment. If you have a house already, you do not have to sell it necessarily. If it's too much house, you may have to sell it. You probably should sell it. But if you have a house already before you started doing the baby steps, then you can possibly keep it. Now, if you don't buy a house before you get done with your full emergency fund. And the fully funded emergency fund cannot be your down payment. So you have to save a down payment above your emergency fund. So, and that goes right there. Now, baby step 0 is a number of things. And that's stuff that happens before you even saved $1,000. And one of those is to get current. So that's one of them. A couple others are the 4 walls. That's shelter, food, clothing, transportation. And my pal Sid likes to say internet as well, since everything's happens on the internet. And so those would be 4 walls. And there's just you make up your mind that debt's not going to be on the table anymore. That's not an option anymore. There's going to be other ways of handling things other than debt from now on. And so all that and more are part of getting insurance in place. All that's part of baby step 0. So you get this settled first. That's what all your money should be going towards is getting this settled. So I don't know if this would just go into collections first. I don't know if Canada is different, where it would just go into collections if you haven't paid it, or your actual people you owe would sue you for it. So, but yeah, that would be addressed first, one way or the other. Aragona 36, baby step 7, flare. Why is there so much anti-Dave Ramsey baby step advice on this sub? Yeah, I mean, I get it. This is an open forum. It's not like the the Ramsey YouTube channel, which there's still people give anti-Dave advice and criticize the advice on there a lot as well, which is fine, except and the mods on the YouTube channel do let that go, as long as they don't keep like harping on it, like everything they type and every couple minutes or so they say get credit cards, like that, and then the mod will tell, or if it gets to a point where the mod says stop it, nobody here is gonna go for that. And so eventually they do get blocked, and most of the time you don't know if it's just a troll or if it's actually somebody that really is if they're saying go into any kind of debt in the Ramsey subreddit, not the Ramsey subreddit, the Ramsey Show YouTube channel, if they're saying that, they are a troll, even if they do actually believe in debt leverage and such. And so why are the mods not deleting it? Again, this is run by fans, not by Ramsey Solutions. So it confuses people who are new to the baby steps. Yeah, and that's what happens in the YouTube chat too. So I generally try to, if somebody gives different advice, I generally say Dave says whatever instead. And other people do that as well. Pay off high interest rate first. This is some of the things. Credit cards are fine if you use them responsibly, which is how they probably got into debt and in the bad shape that they're in, because they said, I'll use them responsibly. And then guess what? Didn't happen that way. And don't pay off your mortgage. Invest that money. And you don't do that because you're still paying interest on the mortgage. And a lot of people don't subtract that interest out from whatever they would be making in the market. True, you're going to make a little bit, but it's better to have, in Ramsey world, it's better to have the house paid off, because that's less risk and also gives you somewhere to live where you don't have to pay rent or mortgage in retirement. Save more than $1,000 because that advice is antiquated, etc. Right? Dave admits it's not enough. He said it wasn't enough 30 years ago either. And so, but that's the advice still. That's how much you do it. Do we need to report these posts before the mods take a look at them? Again, no, those are going to be allowed. So, I mean, I get it, but on this, they're going to be allowed. It's not run by Ramsey Solutions. So, and it is basically an open forum, and any subreddit is, you can type whatever the mods let you type, including disagreeing with Dave. And so, but generally with the Dave Ramsey, the name of the subreddit, you think most people would be interested in Dave's advice. All right. What time did I start this? Did I start this at 9? Oh, I don't have my phone here. It's on the counter. I've done hour 16. I'll go at least another 15 minutes. Should I pay off my... This is from Willie Dynamite, California, I guess, CA. Taxifornia, as we like to call it. Should I pay off my car or put that into student loans? Oh, let's see. See, a lot of times people never think that, oh, well, I could just, let me check the baby steps to see if my question is answered by the baby steps. But no, they just, a lot of times they can't think about their situation because it's too close to them. They can't think about it clearly. And they think because it's them, it's some special situation or something. It's not. There are no exceptions to the baby steps. You're either on them or you paused them for an emergency, or you've chosen not to follow them. Well, those are the three options. Let's see. Should I pay off my car or put that in the student loan? I have enough cash on my savings to pay off my car, $17K, or put that towards my student loans total of $60K. Smallest to largest is what it says here. Right here, pay off all debt except the house using debt snowball method, which is smallest to largest. So that would be pay off that car. Car's at 3.5 and student loan are at 6.5%. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Interest doesn't matter. Smallest to largest is the Dave Ramsey advice. You can follow it or not. No needlework, 5429. If Dave were to announce a baby step 8, what would it be? I don't think it would be anything, because baby step 7, build wealth and give, that goes the rest of your life. And so you don't need that, because if you do something stupid, you're in a lower baby step, like take on debt, or if you even decide to upgrade house and you get a mortgage, I mean, that's fine, but then you're back on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, and 3 you do separately, one at a time. 4, 5, and 6 you do all 3 at the same time, but still in order. So like you would invest 15% of your gross income. You would also put X amount, whatever, if you're going to help your kid, whatever money you wanted to have by the time they were 18, you divide that by the number of months until they are 18, and that gives you how much you need to put away per month. And so you can do that, and then and anything you have extra gets put on the house. So that's how you do those in order, but all at the same time, just like I did. You do the 15 first, so that's gone. You do whatever you need to put towards kid college to have enough for when they turn 18, and any extra you would pay off the house early. Now during 4, 5, and 6, you can put vacation and stuff in your budget. You can have, spend some money. You just have to think every time. It's like, okay, do I want this vacation more, or do I want to put that money on the house? And so it's up to you. You can certainly take vacations and spend money any way you decide to in your budget. But the only exception would be that you don't invest more instead of paying your house off early. Alrighty, so let's see, taking into account all things that are covered in previous step, what would you like to hear should be baby step 8? It's not necessary, because there's nothing else. You're just building wealth and giving, so I don't know. I don't even get that. Oh, let's see, why not? Why not? Let's just see if people had any good ideas. Estate planning, that would build wealth and give. part of it. Bu- 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 But saying that once you have baby steps, that's it. There's a lot about the things to be done from that point onwards. But it's all build wealth and give. And your financial planner can help you do all that. So it doesn't need to be a step-by-step guide to build wealth and give a lot of it away. That doesn't need to be that. Let's see. One main reason generation wealth isn't much of a thing is because it's often less during the inheritance process. So yeah, it's very important. Stupid. Dave Ramsey credit card. Stupid. Let's see. Exercise to help reduce burdensome medical costs. That's a great idea as well, but you don't need that. Learning how to spend the wealth you generated and accumulated before you die. No, that's not it. You give some of it away, but you don't give all of it away. You don't spend it all. He wants you to donate. He does not want you to donate it all to your church and nothing to your family and friends. That is false. Boom, 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 boom. Step 7, build wealth and give. Let's see. Eviction notices to your rentals. They can't afford to live in your neighborhood anymore because you bought all surrounding real estate and jacked up the rate by 300% in the last 2 years. Yeah, that could be the case. It's not your fault. They can't pay going rate. Not your fault. You can set the rate anything you want to. No whole life. People are just basically trying to be funny. Tithe an additional 90%. People are just being stupid, so they're not really answering correctly, which I should have known. Should have known better. Is that Richard Marx? Should have known better than to fall in love with you. Alrighty, New Ninja 8737, a Dave Ramsey financial pro, tried to sell me whole life insurance and an annuity, and that would be, of course, a. Alrighty, and that does happen. I don't know if he means SmartVestor Pro, maybe, or a financial coach. I mean, that can happen. You can be certified as a financial coach, and then you go out into the world. You can be approved as a SmartVestor Pro. You can be vetted as a SmartVestor Pro, but then you're out in the world. Now, that does happen. Sometimes people do call, and they've said in the chat that this SmartVestor Pro or ELP or financial coach. I don't think anybody told them the coach said to do the wrong thing. But I can't remember a time somebody said a coach, but it's SmartVestor Pro or another ELP giving anti-Dave advice, and that does happen because a lot of times those people in those professions will try to sell you what will make them the most money. In that case, that would be whole life insurance as opposed to term life insurance. I don't know. The SmartVestor Pro sells life insurance, but I mean, I guess it's possible they could do both. But yeah, so neither of those has about 1.1 million retirement account. The advisor, see, but see, that's the key is for that that's wrong, and so. Not to trust that person, and to leave that person. Don't have him be your financial pro. Recommended a $150,000 annuity, total market rate of return without market risk. I laughed, and he showed me annuities don't make as much as the market. That is false. And his favorite financial product in the whole financial industry is the whole life policy, right? Yeah. What a joke. Who even calls that comprehensive planning? That is the planning that will make him the most money. So, and when people call and say that Ramsey vetted people have strayed from the path, he does say, okay, I'm going to put you on hold and the screener is going to pick up, and I want you to tell me the name of that person, and so then they will address it that way. Probably by taking them off the referral list. Probably. I don't know how much of a leash Dave gives. If he gives one chance to not do that, especially if people, if it's a referral from Ramsey. I mean, I can see a world where somebody would do that if they actually think it's the best product. But if they know it's a Ramsey referral, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you give them the Ramsey advice? I mean, I guess that you just care about yourself more than anybody else, and you just want to make the most money, no matter who it hurts. All right, Kookie_ad 5370. Seeking advice on manual underwriting. Spouse and I, Churchill Mortgage. Spouse and I bought our current home with got some decent friends coming over. That's from Raising Arizona. With decent credit scores and a traditional mortgage. Fast forward several years, and we're about a month away from completing baby step 2. We'd like to sell the house and move to a new city and change jobs in the next 6 to 8 months. My question is whether paying off our debt next month is a good idea, given the timing of our move. Yeah, you don't move and buy a new house. You don't upgrade house in baby step 2. You don't do that. We'd like to buy a house so you want to buy a house? Yeah, so there's not any doing that. You can stay at the house you're at. You can even make a lateral move, but I wouldn't suggest that lateral move if even the moving expenses are going to put you behind. It's going to be above what you can get out of selling your house. So you're not trying to just use any equity and upgrade by house by having that. None of that's advised. So let's see. What is it? With both of us taking new jobs, we hit our credit scores. Again, worried about the credit scores on manual underwriting. Won't work for us. An alternative would be to complete baby step 2 is plan and rent for a while in the new place. Yeah, anywhere. Yeah, don't buy a house in a new city. Dave always recommends living somewhere at least a year, and that way you know if you want to stay there or not, and that way you don't have a house to get rid of if you don't want to stay there. So that would be the Ramsey advice on that. The Undertow. What up, Aslan? Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it muchly. The Undertow 462. What would Dave do? Flare buying vacation home. That would be cash. Wife and I are just a few short months away from baby step 7, so you don't have the money to get a vacation home. So this question is directed towards those of you in baby step 7. I'm not in baby step 7, but I still know the answer. I'm going to think it's no. It's been a lifelong dream to own a vacation home in the South to avoid the dreadful northeastern winters. I am 31. My wife is 32. That's great for being in baby step 7. That's great. What advice would you give on how to accrue enough to buy a vacation home in cash? You build wealth and give. I'm assuming it would take more than 5 years, so you can put an S&P 500 index fund in the market and make that 10 to 12% a year on that. If you've done that before, how would you do it? Did you just keep plugging away and store money in a high-yield savings account? Or did you utilize a brokerage account? Probably a brokerage account with, it's not going to be anytime soon, probably, depending on your income. So, if you have a great income, maybe it won't take that long. But if you've got 5 years, brokerage account, S&P 500 index fund would be a great idea. And that is exactly how Dave saves for his real estate purchases. And I don't know if he's bought anything recently. He's definitely built a new headquarters, and they opened their event center next door. or behind it or something like that. And they did that 2.5 months ago, I think. And they had an event there, and that same day on Friday they had a live Ramsey show for the first time in about 3 years. Let's see, Silent Samurai. If you're asking for advice, give adequate information. That's a good advice, but a lot of people don't think about it. Something like that. Consistent problem. Hey, I just got 80K. Should I pay off my 20K loan? Right. We don't know if you have lower debts than that. Then you would take care of the lower, smallest to large. Yeah, anyone giving you advice off that and giving you good advice, plus a few of you will ask what the rest of the financial picture is. Yep. Minimum postage you can baby step income, all debts with interest rates and stuff. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen unless there's a thing in place where unless you have these things filled out. And still, even if that happens, they may put garbage in the spot, and that's still not going to work out. So you can't expect too much from the internet. Satisfaction low 3182. Baby step 4 flare, and that is, of course, you've got your full emergency fund, and now you're investing 15% of your household income in retirement. May or may not be also doing 3B, which is save for a down payment. I feel a little is 2 words, stuck in baby step 4, I believe. Well, you're not. You're actually doing 4, 5, and 6 at the same time. If you own a house, 30 male paid is PAID, not PAYED. That saved up money, bought my car in cash. Excellent. Saved up 20K and just started my 401K with 15%. I make 50K a year though. I feel like I'm now stuck. I live with roommates and pay $840 a month. That's a lot to have to live with roommates. More than one roommate. That's a lot. Maybe living in a high cost of living area, and in that case, 50K is not going to cut it. And I feel I've become comfortable, and now I'm getting distracted since I don't know what I could do now to help my case. Well, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. You have your emergency fund, your full emergency fund, and you're on step 5. So I'm assuming you don't have children, and if you are renting, or at least renting, you're paying rent anyway, regardless if it is a house or not, regardless of whether the roommates own it, you're paying rent. So you're renting, so you're basically on step 7 until something changes. So you're building wealth and giving at this point. So if you want to maybe buy a house one day, but I don't think it's going to happen in that neighborhood. So you need to look, you need to either up your income or maybe move to a lower cost of living area where you can make the same income. Let's see if Aslan has anything else to say. No, she just said hello. Alrighty, Neo Exily. She normally likes to chime in with things I didn't think of, or her opinion, which is fine. Is it normal to feel fearful when paying off big debts? I assume they mean not just because of getting rid of the debt, they mean because of getting rid of a bunch of cash in order to pay the debt, maybe. Today I basically bit the bullet and paid a lump sum to pay off my car. Great. The logic was that keeping debt around leaves risk, indeed, and therefore I ought to do it, yes. However, I really felt a sense of dread and of losing tens of thousands of dollars that I accumulated. Is this normal? I would say you think about it, but you are getting something for all your tens of thousands of dollars. You're getting your car paid off, and you don't have that debt anymore, so that's what you get in return for that. And you don't have to make that car payment anymore, so that's what you're getting in return for it. And you owe it regardless of whether you deplete your savings to pay off debt or not. You still owe it. So I mean, I get it. I understand. And it can be very comforting having tens of thousands of dollars in the bank or wherever you have it. That can be very comforting, but baby steps isn't about comfort. It's about getting out of debt and becoming very successful. See, the debt is there's only 2 steps that involve debt. Step 2 and step 6. For regular debt, non-mortgage debt, and the house debt. So there's only 2. So Dave isn't just the get out of debt guy. Doesn't mean not gonna that. Let's see. Beginning _ bit 1030. What to take on first? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that your answer will be right here. Let's see. Hi, there is a beach condo we want to buy for retirement. Goal is to keep the original house and use the beach condo for family and fun times. Currently, there are multiple kids in college, which eats the budget. Oh, well, there might not be a beach condo then. After that, we should have $7K per month to sling towards paying things off quickly. What things? Oh, current home has a 160 left with 2.9. Should we pay that off first and run the risk of the condo going up in price over the next 5 years? If you want to take Dave's advice, yes. Or should we keep that low interest payment and buy the condo as soon as they get out of college, pay it off first? Depends on if you want to take Dave's advice or not. Dave's advice is going to be pay off your current home first, and then you buy a toy, which is the beach condo, even though if you want to live there in retirement. Because you know what you could do? You could pay off your house, and then you could sell it. And with the proceeds from that, you could buy a beach condo for retirement. What about that? How about that? That sounds the best thing to me. Mellow Yellow _ 91. How does Dave measure take-home pay? I think he counts after taxes. I don't think he includes like retirement in that. So like that would include the 15% that you were putting into retirement, I believe. I think it's just taxes for that. Let's see. Total income, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Total income, 210K, blah, blah. Federal taxes, 30K. State taxes, 7K. Social Security is another 12K. We're contributing 15% of our income to retirement, which is 33K. Okay. Insurance, roughly 2K. After all that, we net out at 10K a month. Is that how everyone looks at their finances? Just curious. Yeah, I mean, you only need to worry about what the net income is when figuring out how much house to buy. So if you're not buying a house, you don't really need to be concerned with that. Because the investing is 15% of your gross income, and beyond that you don't need to worry about it. You just take whatever's left after expenses and whatever's left out of your net pay after expenses, after like sinking funds or anything like that you're doing, and then you put whatever else is left to whatever baby step you're on. All right, let's see. But you can also save it back faster since you are also saving the old car payment as well. Yes, that's true. Yep, that's what I was saying. She just, we didn't disagree there. She just took it the step before further than what I said, and then you wouldn't have the car payment either. And yes, taking that forward is saying yes, you would be able to save it back faster because you would not have the car payment. This is from Cuban 2017. Question about 401k in step 2, 45 years old. I don't see 401k on there anywhere. I don't see that on there. I see retirement in step 4. So I don't see that on there. We're older, just starting up on air. No savings really for retirement. 48 for successful in vitro fertilization. No regrets. Okay. No need to have regrets anyway, because that's that's done. And basically, if you're not following the baby steps and you hear about Dave and decide to follow him, you start with where you are. You can't go back in time. No DeLoreans to do that. We're in step 2, which will take will take 3 years. Okay, so you'll be done paying debt in 48. Okay, we're 45. Should we leave 401k contributions? Nope. Since our employers match? Nope. At our age, I'm afraid we won't start saving under this plan until we are 50. That's fine, because then you will have no debt and you'll have a full emergency fund. So that means you can put everything that you're putting to debt now into retirement, so you can save more for it. Anna is gonna get better. Okay, that's a positive. Baby step 2, flare, private student loan no more. Come here to celebrate finally paid off by private student loan, $9,750, and 5 years later, this is the first of our medium-sized debts to go away, and I couldn't be more pumped. Excellent. And just for that, I was only thinking about the negative. Silly me. I should have thought about some good things happening in the chat. If I can type in the off-screen window. Sorry for the delay. I'll have it ready next time. Let's see. Ready? There we go. So, excellent. Private student loan gone. Excellent. Alrighty. I don't think I've never gotten a copyright flag for using that. Alrighty. Okay, so that's available for me to use again if there's good news. That is kind of rare, though. Many more people were problems than success stories, but it's good to see the success stories on air. Definitely. Factory C. Dave, car advice. I know the general advice, that's for everybody. For Dave, car is drive until the repairs outweigh the value of the car. Yeah, and you get to make the choice on that, just like the other one we talked about earlier. In my situation, bought a 2008 Cobalt, 130k miles, commute to work, off a friend for $800. These tires, probably some suspension components as ABS traction light are on, and an exhaust leak fixed. I would have taken that to a mechanic first to look at before you bought it. This at minimum is going to be over $1,000. $1,000 plus the 18, that's 1,800. You're not going to get a different car for less than that, probably. So do that. I've also paid off 2021 Toyota Tundra, 20k miles. Wow, to do truck stuff with. You could just do everything with that. Just impractical to drive 80 miles a day round trip to work. So you're going to get a new car to run into the ground. I mean, that's your choice if you want to, but that's extra repairs and the expense to buy the car. So in my situation, it wouldn't be practical to get rid of it just because the repairs would outweigh the value, right? Well, you're making up all this, so you get to decide. Some chance I'd be able to replace it for something that didn't require at least $1,000 in work for that price. I'm definitely the wrong guy to ask. Dave likes cars way more than I do. I don't care about them. So whatever car I have, I would drive however many miles I need to go. Now, what might be impractical might be driving 80 miles a day round trip to work. Why don't you move closer to work? That's what I would be asking the question that wasn't asked, answering the question that wasn't asked. Diablo 4 available. I haven't played a Diablo game since I think Diablo 2. And that does remind me though, Steam Summer Sale. I know they have Portal 2 for 99 cents. You can buy Portal and Portal 2 for $1.50. And they have a bunch of other stuff on sale. They do not have The Last of Us Part 1 on sale. That is currently regular price at $59.99. I got it when it was on sale for like 40 bucks, something like that. Oh, let's see. Nothing else from Aslan. So I must be doing all right. Just kidding, Az. Is $65 a year a good price for every dollar? Is that just every dollar? At the current discount level of $65, usually $80 per year. Every dollar seems very expensive to me. That seems expensive even for a one-off fee. What do you think? Well, the free version of every dollar works just fine, except it doesn't integrate with your bank, so that's what you're paying for, the privilege of it integrating with your bank. But the way it used to be, anyway, I don't know if they're selling every dollar a la carte now, meaning differently, but it used to be included as part of the price of Ramsey Plus, which includes Financial Beast University and other tools to help you. Demerson 96. Overpay my mortgage or save for a new home? You don't know for sure you're moving. You don't know for sure when you're moving. Always in motion is the future, says Yoda. Always in motion is the future, yes. And so you don't know. So what you do know is that you have a mortgage. So you pay it. And that's not a problem if you do move when you think you'll move, because guess what? When you sell that house, you're going to get all that money back. How about that? Let's see. Avid listener and follower. First time both. We recently moved in the first house. Until recently moved in the first house. And you're going to save for a new house already? That's the incorrect way to do it. Saving for a wedding, too? Trying to do too many things. With that, we have two options that I can see. And you're wrong. You have plenty of. There's always at least another option that you did not consider. And in this case, it's not doing any of this stupid crap. Well, not having a wedding is a good idea, obviously. Very expensive wedding, maybe not. Let's see. With that, we have two options that you can see. Does it make sense to overpay on our existing mortgage? Yes, because you don't know what the future holds. And you just freaking moved in there. Given we have, why is it only a fixed rate of that much until, then it's not a fixed rate. If it's changing in December 2025, it's not a fixed rate. That's not, I don't think you mean, Princess Bride, I do not think that means what you think it means. We're saving for our wedding at the moment. Oh, I did that already. Our existing mortgage, given that we have such a good interest rate, Dave doesn't care about interest rates. Or should we just take the cash and save it in a savings account to have cash for a deposit on hand? You're trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it, if you do, or you do a bit of both. You're trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it. No other debts, emergency fund will be fully accounted for before we start this venture, and my pension plan already hits 15%. Good. Hey, newsflash, pension plan. I'm not gonna look to see. Boom, 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 boom. Pension plan counts for only half of the 15%. 15%, sir. Or man, I don't know if it's a. Yeah, he didn't say, so I won't say sir. And somebody else may have told them that already, but Yeah, I don't have the lights on in here except for the webcam light. What's your rate gonna balloon to in 2026? Yeah, second this question. Let's see if the person says gives any other information. I don't see OP anywhere here. No OP, no OP, no OP, no OP, no OP. So anyway, might have got scared and run away from the thread. So yeah. So, but maybe I'll read that. I didn't notice anybody typing that, so, or that has typed that already. So that could have been in the couple things where the guy wrote War and Peace to explain it to him. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. As I say, we save the cash just in case there are unexpected wedding expenses. However, try to keep the wedding costs under control. All right. Again, it's like trying to do too much at one time. So like trying to, concentrate on right now what it is, and that's the wedding. Save up enough for the wedding. And again, keep it under control. Wanting to pull in an extra $500 a month. This from a lot of letters and numbers. Web developer and make a reasonable salary, but sole income provider for a family of 4 with a couple kids getting close to college age. We certainly have some areas in our budget we need to pull back and halt / limit. Yep. Mostly around fast food. Yep. And or miscellaneous trips to CVS when we can get better deals elsewhere. Yes. Held back on retirement. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, outside of the bare minimum for years because it feels like we're constantly just trying to keep our head above water. Yeah, you need to cut everything down or up the income. Well, we aren't really in debt. What does that mean? We aren't thriving, which is my concern. So if you're in single debt without it being debt. Oh, most of our debt is medical debt. Hey, guess what? That's still debt. It's not, you don't get a special category for medical debt. I always put myself last health-wise because I make sure my family's getting taken care of. But our HSA doesn't build because we always are using it. Okay? That's got nothing to do with you eating out. That's got nothing to do with you buying stuff at CVS when you can go to Walmart and get it cheaper. That doesn't have anything to do with that. Definitely don't have anything to do with you wanting to help your kids with college. I have a web dev side business which brings in a few grand a year. Make sure with your employer that you can do that. Some do not allow you to do the same work, freelance. But it's a bit inconsistent. I have a consistent list of clients that pay me up front for a year of site work, site development, something. Alrighty. Yeah, pull in the extra $500 a month, absolutely. But if you cut $500 a month in expenses, you don't have to pull in $500 a month. So I'm assuming you want that above what you're getting paid on your side business too. So you may be living in, if you're living in California or you're living in New York, you might want to move to America and leave the coasts. Let's see. Early-celebration-89. Changing Dave's advice for an international audience, specifically UK. Well, the principles are the same. Obviously the retirement accounts would be called different words, and they may not be as advantageous as the tax advantage American retirement accounts, and you will be paying more than taxes probably in the UK as well. So let's see what this person's issue is. Big fan of Dave overall as someone from the UK, I've noticed that a lot of his advice doesn't apply. How? Some things that I have changed to be more UK specific. Credit cards. I use a credit card to purchase over £100 for the extra protection. Your debit card has the same protections. if it has the MasterCard or Visa logo on it, which all my debit cards at every bank I've ever gotten a debit card from do have the MasterCard. I think all mine have had the MasterCard, but whatever, it doesn't matter, whichever one. So if you have that, you do get the same protections. So it's a myth that you don't. Anyway, so, but if paying on a debit card, the only option would be a chargeback, which is not as powerful. No, that's the false. I pay off the card every month, so no interest, and use debit cards for everything else. Okay, so that's not, I mean, you got people here doing that crap too, so that's got nothing to do with the UK at all. So that's just you choosing to do that. Alrighty, on this note, credit scores are completely different here, right? We don't have a universal score, we have a credit report, which each company uses to make a judgment of your risk. I believe this is similar to manual underwriting, which Dave references a lot. Maybe. Mutual funds. Dave only recommends 25% for international funds. This is a bit of a home bias, as international funds make up about 40%, not 25%. I don't get it. This is probably an okay home bias for an American, but for me, as someone living outside, I prefer a more global approach. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to follow his advice, and certainly it would make sense that it would be more American, and if especially you would want to do more international if your international are the great American companies that are making a lot of money. That is probably, yeah, what you would want to do. So yeah, sure, no problem with that. As long as they're making 10 to 12%, knock yourself out. And yeah, I understand, because your international would be American stuff. Let's see, student loans, more of a tax than a loan. Yep. So the general advice is that unless you are a very high earner, it's not worth paying off before you have to. Payments come out of stuff. Well, you don't take them. You don't take student loans. You should. I thought it was free. Oh, it gets written off after 30 years. Yeah, Dave's not gonna play with that. Even if that was offered here, he wouldn't play with that. He would say, pay cash for it if you can. And if you can't, pay cash for it again. Work more. Take longer to graduate by working. Take a year off and work. And do not have student loans. That's what, I mean, that's the whole thing. You're talking about Dave's advice. His advice is not to have any debt. So why is debt even a part of it? I don't get it. So anyway, this also eliminates the need for baby step 5, right? It also doesn't apply if you don't have children. Let's see, am I on the right track with my thinking? No, because baby step 5, you want to keep them from taking out loans, even if they are going to get written off after 30 years. So no, I don't think you're on the right track. I mean, you had some good points as far as, I mean, the only thing basically that I thought was a good point was your international. And you want to make your international more because it should include more American companies. And there's other countries as well, other than the UK, that have really good companies. So that one is probably the only thing. Other than that, the advice is still no loans. Doesn't matter if they'll get forgiven in 30 years. Stupid. Anything else I'm missing? Difference outside the U.S. Like I said, the retirement is different. The retirement accounts, names are different. They're similar and they may not be as good. If most of those are pensions like there are in the United States, then they only count for half of the, because they don't make as much as market investing does. So there you go. So I mean, he had one good point, and more that he thought was good points, but I don't see those as. I mean, that's more like not following his advice at all. Is having those student loans, which is your choice, just like it's people's choices in America to have those student loans, even though they aren't gonna be forgiven, it looks like. Careless Relation 6. How does paying child support fit into the guidelines Dave Ramsey suggests? I think I did this one already. And of course, the same thing, why pay off house early instead of increasing investment amount? That's because you're trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it, which is the mortgage interest. And a lot of people say, I can make this much in the market, and you gotta subtract the amount, and it doesn't go 1-to-1, but you gotta subtract the mortgage interest from the interest you're making a month, or the returns rather you're making in the investing, in the extra investing. And so it's not even the whole. You can't even look at the whole amount you're making. It's just the difference in whatever else you're adding to it is making. And so I don't think I've thought about that before. That's a good point, Steve. Thank you. So it's not. You can't even compare the mortgage interest to the whole amount of your investment returns per month. It's only on the difference between the 15% and whatever extra you would be putting on the mortgage. And so that's not going to be enough. And that probably isn't even, that difference probably isn't going to be enough even to reach the amount of the mortgage interest. So, yeah. Hi, I'm following Dave's plan. False. Not if you're questioning. And am currently, the time to question is before you start doing it. And I'm currently in baby step 6. The other day I was talking with a coworker and told him we are trying, definitely trust a coworker over a man that's been giving advice for 30 years, has millions of success stories. Definitely, because your coworker said something, be all confused. Anyway, told him I'm trying to pay off our house early. He mentioned, that it might make more sense to increase investing because our interest rate on our loan is so low, 2.65%. Are you going to make more than 2.65 on the extra you're putting into your account? Again, it's not the entire amount, not the 15%. So only what you put in above 15% is what you would have to compare that 2.65 to. So there you go. Whereas investing typically has a return of 8 to 10%, 10 to 12%. 10 to 12% is the S&P 500 index fund average yearly. But 40% of managed mutual funds beat the index. So yeah. So I mean that would be probably some more fuel for you to want to do that, but don't. Does Dave give any insight on why he recommends paying off the house first before investing more? Yes, he does that every time. Risk. He does that all the time. It's a risk. And again, like I said, you're trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it. And it could be, especially in the early going, that you're going to be negative amount. So better to get rid of this 2.65% interest instead of make 1% more interest a month. So, because that's still a negative 1.65. That's just a quick example for it. So that, and let's see, the child support thing, that's an expense, which is what I said last time. So I did find out, so for next time, I did find a wonderful thing called because the last show I did, this is all new stuff, but the last show I did, I actually went through all of the, I'm not on the one show, but just through my 26 shows, or however many I've done. I've exhausted the 1,000 posts that Reddit has as a maximum. And so I've exhausted them. So I've done every question that I have access to on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. But I found the Wayback Machine, which will take a snapshot of a website. And so I had ready to go in case I ran out before I wanted to quit. I have this from, I believe this is 2022. And this is just the date the community was created, so it's not that. And the 20 hours ago here, and the 3 years ago, that is from when it was the snapshot was taken. 20 years, as you can see, January 30th, 2023 was 20 hours ago. From that. Oh, this must be the 2023. Yeah, okay, not 2022. This is year 2020. I was going to do 2022, but I thought there's probably some from the first part of this year that I haven't done yet. So I do have access to more. So don't worry, I won't be running out of questions anytime soon, because thanks to the Wayback Machine, we have all those questions saved. And of course, it'd be interesting to see some things like that have changed, if people are asking still the same questions over and over again, or if there are more based on the year it was. And if we can note any issues or any pattern to that. Let's see, I might play some more Last of Us Part 1 tonight, maybe. If not, probably tomorrow. I will have the return of the Ramsey show after show on July 4th, because I'm off. I'm also off July 7th, and so there'll be an after show that day as well. And unfortunately, I can only do after shows after the show on days I'm off, which is bank holidays and one extra weekday off each month. So there won't be that many, unfortunately. Alrighty, so I'll go to the Wayback Machine when I need to, but if I wait another week, then I'll have another week. But probably I will delve into the Wayback Machine content on the after show on Tuesday and Friday. Probably I'll be using that. We'll see. Or I'll just do the ones from here and then save that for the next Ramsey Coach show. Alrighty, and let's see. Let's let this play. Hopefully you can hear me above this. Alright, so once again, I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com / Coach Steve Money, CALENDLY.com and Coach Steve / Coach Steve Money. Sorry. You can email me about coaching or anything else. At CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me / CoachSteveMoney. Oh, it's also email there. PayPal.me / CoachSteveMoney for donations to the channel. And you can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. And of course, this YouTube channel is called youtube.com / Coach Steve Money. One last check in with Aslan. The basic supply everywhere. Don't go to debt. If you are, then pay it off as soon as possible. Absolutely, awesome. Have a good night. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. And everyone that's watching, I appreciate it as well. Right. Probably zoomed in a bit too much. Should be zoomed out a little bit more. I'll try to fix that for next time.